We're very delighted to have with us a really remarkable group of first-time women members of Parliament. Uh, I would call them trailblazers who are redefining what it means to lead today's India and maybe India today. This is
India at India today.
at India today. Okay, they are, as you can see, bold, driven, and refreshingly unapologetic about what they do. These are young MPs in a country where, as we've seen in this whole day's summit, women face barriers at every stage, from education and employment to safety and social mobility, as we saw in the last session that's there. And they come from different parties. And that's what's very interesting. But what unites them, I think, is their, in some senses, shared courage to challenge the status quo, speak up for the voiceless, and push for real lasting change. So we are very delighted to welcome to this forum these role models for millions of girls across India who are now see Parliament not just as a distant institution, but as a space that they can belong to at once, like all of you have done. And just quickly, from my left onwards, no particular order, Shambhavi Chowdhury, MP from LJP, right, from Bihar, Ikra Hassan, MP Lok Sabha from UP, and Sayuni Ghosh, MP Lok Sabha TMC Jadavpur. So let's begin with you, Shambhavi. We move this way on this. And what is it that drove you to become a first-time MP? And as first-time MP, did you face any gender discrimination when you came in?
First of all, I would like to thank the entire India Today group for hosting such a fabulous summit where women from all diverse sections could come and speak up for themselves, for the fields that they're working in. And it was very interesting to hear conversations of entrepreneurs, somebody who's in business, somebody who's in public service, somebody who's been, I just, when I was entering, I saw Vyomika Singh also, which was like a little fan moment for me. So I think it's incredible, and I really love the work that you're doing. Coming to your question, what drove me to become a member of Parliament? I think it's just that, you know, I read somewhere that you have to be the change that you wish to see in the world, and it starts from you. I came in politics because I think it's a space where I can raise my voice for the ideologies that I believe in. As a woman, it's very important. You're fighting a two battle. As a woman politician, you are fighting for a cause that's your political ideology. You're fighting for that, and you're also fighting on against patriarchy at that front. So it's a war on two fronts, and but least to say that I think we have to be courageous. We have to be ready to take on whatever comes. It's a tough field because it's male dominated. You have to create a space for yourself. So challenges are there, but I'm enjoying. A lot has changed over the years. People are more welcoming towards women now. We at the Parliament we have a very cooperative environment. The senior leaders make space for other women, especially young women. They encourage them to raise their voice. So I think slowly we are moving towards a positive direction, but it's still a long way to go. And the second part of your question
was the gender discrimination.
Yes, gender discrimination. Yes. So during my campaign, of course, I think gender discrimination is very rooted in our society. It just flows naturally. Like, people don't realize that they are discriminating against you because you are a woman. They just casually make a remark, and without realizing that they are giving into the patriarchy. While I was campaigning, I was asked very different and very weird questions. Like, okay, now that you're in politics, who's going to look after your family? How will you manage your family? How will you manage your kids? You are so young, you're going to have children. So I think these are some questions that you all will also be asked sometime. And people would automatically believe that, okay, now that I'm in politics, the real power lies with my father, lies with my husband. Okay, आप इनको जिता दो, इनके पापा हैं, इनके पति ये हैं, ये तो ऐसे ऐसे. So, you know, I think these are all little parts of patriarchy. I just put a picture recently of all women MPs together, and I had captioned it as United Against Patriarchy, and there was like a few accounts that probably didn't like it on social media, and they were also like, oh my god, she's so and so's daughter, so and so's husband, and she's against patriarchy. They don't realize that we are not saying, we are not proud of the lineage that we come from, or we are not recognizing who we are or what our roots are. It's just that we are fighting against a system that discriminates us based on gender.
Right.
So, you know, it's a fight, but we are continuously fighting, and hopefully we will see a good day.
Let's give a warm round of applause for that. And let's come to you, Sayoni. And you've had an interesting background, successful in entertainment, films, and television as well. What brought you into this? Is there any sort of similarity that you find here? It's an easy path. And do you face, as probably you did in film, certain gender discriminations? What would that be, say, in politics?
The reason why I got into politics was Mamata Banerjee alone.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you have a leader like her, and she is herself the biggest example of woman empowerment that I think. And it was a fight against oppression, tyranny, the state of West Bengal, like you know. हम अपना ही करते हैं, मतलब we have our own mind. And Mamta Di was, of course, one of the biggest source of inspiration. So I joined politics. I'm a very new entrant. I joined in 2021. And I was given a lot of opportunities by my party, by Didi. And I'm also the state president, state youth president of Trinamool Congress in West Bengal. So Mamata Banerjee is obviously very, very pro-woman empowerment. Abhishek Banerjee is very pro-woman empowerment. And you know, Bengal, I don't know about like Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, they'll be able to say better. But in Bengal, we say, there's a shloka, it's called Srishti Sthiti Binashanang Shakti Bhute Sanatani Gunastroy Gunomoy Narayani Namastate. So it means ke Srishti, that creation, Sthiti, which is balance, and Vinash, which is destruction. It all depends on the woman. It all depends on Ma, it all depends on Devi, and Bengal, like you know, is the place for Ma Kali, Ma Durga. So women are perceived in a very different way. So obviously there would be challenges. Challenges are there in every sphere of life. Like when I started acting, I was only 16 years old. But the first support that has to come from your family. So that way my father, my brother, they were very supportive. So I could pull through. When I came into politics, it was the same thing. They said, okay, both acting and politics. When you go out and you tell people, what does your daughter do? She's an actor. Oh, actor, okay. Oh, my daughter is a politician. Politics mein kya kar raha hai yaar? Politics kaun karta hai yaar? So both the professions, you know, it was never met with a lot of positive response. But like they say, if life throws lemons at you, at least I can make a nice fresh lime soda, salt. Yeah, so that's what I did.
And some sweet.
Yes, and some sweet. And so that's about it. And like I told you, Bengal is very pro-women. There would be challenges. I always tell everybody that in different parts of the country, you know, daughters are addressed with words like beti, like ladli, like beta, like guriya, and things like that. But probably Bengal is the only place where our fathers call us ma. So, you know, that's the kind of people we are surrounded with in Bengal. So it has been very positive. I have got a lot of encouragement from my party, from my fellow politicians, my supporters. And at the end of it all, I think if you have somebody like Mamata Banerjee in that white sari and a Hawaii chappal, I think that should be enough for you to just jump. So you jump, I jump.
Another round of applause, please, for Sayani. And finally, Ikra, what brought you into politics? You do have a family history of politics, of course, but you educated yourself well, but decided you'd come this side of the fence and do it. What motivated you, and what is the kind of gender discrimination you face yourself?
I'll pick it up from where Shani left. When life throws lemons at you, you have to make lemonade. So my journey, that's how my journey in politics began. As you said, I come from a political background. I think Shambhavi also.
Yes, she also does, yes.
So there was a time I joined back in 2021, and I was still studying. But at that time, there was a situation at home wherein my brother was persecuted by the state, was put behind bars. There was nobody else. Suddenly, I was pushed to the forefront, to the limelight. I didn't even know how to deliver speeches at that time. So that's how it started. And I was very academically into politics. I always liked politics as a subject and always had very theoretical ideas. But then I got to understand what it actually means on ground. How do policies get implemented? So all of those very idealistic utopian ideas that one creates in their mind when studying, it was finally time to put them to use, and that is when I understood what the hindrances are. And so that is how it began. And at one point, I wanted to challenge. There was a time where I thought, it can't get much worse than this. My brother was in jail. There were cases in 3 courts. We couldn't sell anything, couldn't buy anything. So that time, I wanted to challenge the current government and see how it goes. So that was the one thought that actually started it. And since then, it's been a great journey, great learning experience. But also, I've always heard that we come from a lot of privilege, but even as privileged women who have a platform, who've gotten things a little bit easier, I think there is still so much to do because we feel all these discriminations based on our gender. The card that has been dealt to us at our birth, it still hinders some steps that we take in society. Things are changing, but I feel like a lot needs to change. And I think representation is one thing that will invite more people. When I was a child, we read a lot about Indira Gandhi ji, and the visuals of one woman being there who has led the country, who has taken things forward, who not only was there for tokenism but was able to take important decisions. I think I often look back to that, and I think as Mamta ji for her and for all of us also, it is important to have women in important positions so that more women can enter. So I think it's a journey. We're learning, things are changing, but a lot needs to be done.
One round of applause for Ikra as well. And, we needed 2 anchors to really. Well, that's the fiery, bold leadership that you'll demonstrate. So Kaushik Deka is going to ask the next round.
We needed 6 actually. So I'll start with Ikra. You have faced a lot of attention for your gender because recently I saw one incident where you faced a problem with an SDM who misbehaved with you. Then I saw some youngsters from NU, they were making some videos. Then recently you stood up for your leader, Dimple Yadav, because some clerks made some obnoxious comments about her. How do you deal with this attention, which is unnecessary and which is particularly because of your gender? More so because you come from not only from a privileged background, but you are qualified, you have done your education abroad. How do you now suddenly you are thrown into this scenario where probably you have seen a very emancipated, liberated world, and suddenly you see that you are point of attention not because of your legislative work, but because of something else? How do you deal with that?
I think that was my very first issue as a public figure. I didn't want any attention on what I'm wearing, how I'm presenting myself, because rarely do we see men being attacked for such things, for their appearance, what they've chosen to wear, how they're conducting themselves. But it is always easier to sling mud at a woman for how she's dressing. There was a very initial interview I did wherein I said that I'm a feminist, but I'm a strategic feminist. So I would never cover my head. I did that because I come from a very rural constituency, and women there, across religion, across caste, this is the way they cover their head. So just to avoid that sort of questioning, that how I'm representing myself, uh, I chose to cover my head because for me it doesn't mean, it doesn't hinder me, it doesn't take away from my individuality. I just thought that if I cover my head and if that takes away from these questioning, and then we can all sit and talk about the important work that needs to be done, then it's fine with me. But even then, the incidents you just mentioned, even then, no matter, that is the problem with the society, that is what we need to change, that no matter what a woman does to save herself from all of these things, there will still be somebody, some random man on the internet making videos on you, commenting about you. It is just very easy. So I think cyber security is one thing that the government really, really needs to look at. There is a bane and a boon to everything, but women always get the back end of everything. So it is a struggle, but one needs to, practically speaking, we need to block our minds to such things and focus on the more important things in life. But it does emotionally, morally affect you for a bit. But I think that's how you create a thicker skin. And I'm learning to create a thicker skin, and will face all of these issues head on. We are in the Department of Policy Making, so I think we need better policies for women. There's still so much room to do a lot, and I hope all of us sitting here can do that better.
Sayani Ghosh, as an actor and now as a politician, you probably among the three has the thickest skin.
Yes, it's 19-inch right now. I can totally tell you.
And you come from a state which is headed by a woman called Mamata Banerjee, a very strong woman. Then your party has so many strong women as MPs, you yourself, Kakali Ghosh Dastidar, Sushmita Deb, Sagarika Ghosh now, Mahua Moitra. Oh, how can I forget that?
You dare forget.
Yes, I'm so sorry. But when it comes to your state, now we see headlines coming from your state where we see cases of sexual assault against women, crimes, horrific crimes. Why this dichotomy? You very rightly said that daughters in West Bengal, they're called Ma, also in some parts of Assam, my home state, but why do we see this dichotomy? Such horrific crimes are coming from that part of the country.
See, I'll tell you that in the very first place, when things of this sort happen, it's not a matter of great pride or joy for us. Especially when you are led by a woman chief minister, when you have the highest number of women representation in Lok Sabha, 38%, 12 got tickets, 11 of them won. So it tells you that the people of Bengal have faith in Mamata Banerjee, and they have faith in the women representatives. Now, coming to your point specifically, I would say that these are obviously horrific incidents, but these are also isolated incidents. With a population of, say, about 12, 13 crore people, almost 50% women, yes, we don't want even one of such things to happen. According to a data, NCRB data 2022, there are 91 rapes happening in India every day. Yeah? The top 5 states are the BJP ruled states. Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Odisha, महाराष्ट्र. मैं इस तर्क में घुसना ही नहीं चाहती कि आपके यहाँ ज़्यादा है, मेरे यहाँ कम है. You have 5 rapes, I have 3 rapes. I don't want to talk about this. But what's important is that how are we addressing this? After a few incidents that happened, Mamata Banerjee herself, she took a lot of reformative steps. When I talk about women empowerment, you can go to any part of the country, and I can tell you that what Mamata Banerjee has done for the women of Bengal, ये दिल्ली में आप बैठ के क्या बोल रहे हैं उससे निर्धारित नहीं होगा. आप बंगाल में आइए और आप देखिए that out of the 94 schemes that she has managed to touch the lives of at least every person in some way or the other. After Arjikar happened, I would like to be specific. We have taken reformative steps. The government of West Bengal has said that we are not running away from our responsibilities. We need to be more careful. And we also came up with the Aparajita anti-rape bill, which was lying with the Honorable President of India, and she has sent it back recently. And it demanded fast-track investigation, it demanded capital punishment. This is also social conditioning. It's about patriarchy, it's about misogyny, it's about how men perceive women as a commodity. So, while the government is going to do its part, it's going to make Kolkata safer. By the way, Kolkata is one of the most safest, if I can say, it's the safest, top 3 safest cities in India. The data says that. So the way we do our job, she has come up with Ratire Shati. It's patrolling by women throughout West Bengal. More CCTV cameras, more, like Kalpana ji was saying, more lighting, women in more power positions. We are going to do that. But at the same time, I think परवरिश की भी बात होती है, समाज की भी बात होती है. जैसे I can say उत्तर प्रदेश हो या बिहार हो, again they'll be able to say better. The way women are perceived there, we have heard leaders coming to Bengal and say कि महिलाओं का काम किचन में होता है, ये पॉलिटिक्स क्या करेंगी, इनको क्या करना है. ममता बनर्जी has totally, she has destroyed this notion about women in Bengal. We want Bengal to be way more safe, but we are also very proud that the women of Bengal are very empowered. Our woman chief minister, 3rd time chief minister, God's grace, going to be the 4th time chief minister in 2026. She's going to ensure that all the women in Bengal are going to live their safest life.
My question for Sambhavi, because you are associated with a school, and in Parliament you have talked about education, and Ikra also can join in this in answering this question. National education policy, it's in the 5th year now. From your experience in Bihar, how do you see the implementation of the policy? Do you think there is a change on the grassroots?
So obviously, I feel that when we are talking about women empowerment, education becomes very important. Education is something that is that gives you the right kind of exposure. Our ideal, Baba Saheb Ambedkar also used to say, educate, agitate, unite. So that's what he said, and that's his footsteps that we are following. He was also a feminist, and education plays. I feel that I am liberated. I can raise. I can speak for the voiceless. I can raise a voice because I have a strong educational background, and I am one person who has donated her entire 5-year salary to support education of women in my constituency. So that's the kind of role education has played in my life, and I want to promote that. If we talk of national education policy, of course it's bringing about a positive change, and it is going to bring about a positive change. Not just policy, not just specifically national education policy, but also there are different kind of policies in Bihar that have been implemented by the Bihar government. Like there is a cycle yojana, there is Poshak yojana. These are kind of policies that have been taken up by, that have been recognized by international organizations like United Nations. And there is also, if you're talking of women empowerment and educating them, we also have Anganwadi workers and Jivika Didis, how they are bringing about a difference in the domestic sphere. So we also have, if we talk of different policies, then we also have 35% reservation in government jobs for women, and Bihar is the only state that has got that. So definitely all these policies help empower women, because if you don't safeguard through policies, the positive change is not going to happen. You have to formulate policies that are a little biased towards women, so that more and more women have safeguards against, like, if we are talking of crimes or if we are talking of any other thing. And not just education specifically, but in different social spheres also, we need more inclusive policies. And I think that is what our job is here as nation builders, as policy makers. It's our job to raise the voice for women and to make all these policies more and more inclusive. And I just hope that once we have the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, more and more women will come up. And
Before she answers, I am tempted to ask you a very political question. You have praised Bihar government, the functioning of Bihar government, at least in the education sector.
Yeah.
And your leader, Chirag Paswan, just 1 or 2 days back, he has criticized. He says that it's very unfortunate that he is part of NDA. How do you reconcile
he did not
the two?
say that it's very unfortunate. It
But
was.
he was regretting supporting
it was,
NDA government.
See, he. What about the recent incidents that have happened in the state? He, I think, just projected, like, you know, even if we are part of the alliance, it's our responsibility to say something if something goes wrong, right? You can't be quiet about everything. And I think as responsible people in the government, we were just trying to raise our voice for something that was wrong. Somewhere or the other, there has been a like एक भूल हो गई है प्रशासन से, एंड ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है कि हम उसके खिलाफ बोलें. अगर हमें ऐसा लगता है तो वी कांट बी क्वाइट बिकॉज वी थिंक दैट ओके नो इट इज़ आवर गवर्नमेंट सो वी नीड टू बी क्वाइट. अरे अगर कहीं पे मर्डर हुए हैं तो वो गलत हुए हैं. आप कैसे कह सकते हो कि मर्डर सही हुए हैं? यू कांट से दैट, राइट? So I just feel that you are trying to fill in the blanks, but it's nothing
Very
like that. It was a
politically
very
correct answer.
we're all no. I think we're all part of building the society, right? And we have to play our part honestly. That's all that requires. Even if we are part of the government or not, we always have to raise our voice against something that is not right.
So let me take off from there, and we just got about 4-5 minutes. We can extend it a little bit, but let's start with you, Ikra. And you were talking of policies, and if you look ahead, you've got 4 years more that you have. Which is the one policy you would do to change that will help women empowerment? What would you focus on if you had to do just one?
Sir, at the top of my mind, I have something that I was wanting to jump into. So we have NEP 2020. There are two aspects to policy. One is policy making, the other is implementing it. So whatever policies are made, how are they implemented on the grassroots is one big issue. We have MSMEs. For women, they don't need to give collateral and get loans from the government. But on ground, I have experienced this from my constituents. They've complained to me that this is not taking place. Secondly, we have the gender parity for minimum wage, wherein the women, if you go to a contractor and you say कि मैं महिला हूँ और मुझे मर्द जितनी बराबर तनख्वाह दीजिए, so because of our physiological differences, they will just deny. And there is nowhere that women can go to complain about it. So there are implementation issues, but I think right now where this country stands, we need to give basic amenities to the last individual standing. And for me, education, like Shambhavi said, it has liberated us, it has given us better exposure. If we can give that to the women, to the last girl child there is, I think that is the one thing that all of us need to do. And it is very unfortunate that I have to talk about this here, but Uttar Pradesh government has recently brought about a provision wherein they want to merge 5,000 schools. What it means is that they're government schools, so it is only going to impact the poorest section of the society and biased against women, I would say. So 5,000 being merged means 5,000 schools closing. So on the ground level, what it means is that you will, the rural constituencies as mine, you can still send a male child to another village to get educated, but parents would not send their girl child because of the crime rates, as Shiny mentioned. My state tops the list, yes. We have a lot of talk about law and order improving under the current government in UP, but the stats are totally against it. And so in such a state where literacy rate is so low, and dropout rate is increasing every day. If you bring in a policy, even if that hinders one girl child from going to school, I think it is a failure on all our parts. And I think that is what we are here for, that if we can't facilitate policies for women, at least we have to raise our voice to stop the policies that obstructs their growth. So I think that is one thing that we need to look into, and I think if we can stop this, it will be great. So if your platform is a great platform to put this across. I hope all of us can join in into
Right.
stopping this. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's come to you, Shayoni. And what is the one thing you would like to be remembered for, that you can push for women in this term of yours?
See, I'm in a better position. Being in the ruling dispensation where Mamata Di has been doing such amazing work for the women of West Bengal. They were talking about schemes. I told you we have 94 schemes touching people's lives. We have Kanya Shri, hailed globally, where women are given scholarships to study further. There's Ruposhri, बिछड़े वर्ग के जो लोग होते हैं, poor people, they don't have money to send their daughter off for marriage. We give money for that. We give cycles, we give kitabe, books, everything, all the support. And there is the biggest scheme, Lokhir Bhandar, which also financial assistance. छोटी छोटी ख्वाहिशें होती हैं महिलाओं की, पूरे कर पाते हैं, पैसे जोड़ जोड़ के बड़ा कुछ करते हैं. The whole idea is to just get this whole system going bigger, better. And obviously,
What would you do? That's Mamta's done all this.
yes,
Mamta Di have done all that.
I
What
would
you focus
like to
on?
carry it further. There are 38%, like I told you, Lok Sabha, 38% women representation.
Right.
Be it an organization. मुझे एक party दिखा दीजिए. We don't need a woman reservation bill. We have the will, so we don't need the bill. Please understand. Mamata Banerjee, Mr. Narendra Modi has to wait for a bill to come into existence. Mamata Banerjee has the will to work for women. बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ ट्रक के पीछे लिखने से नहीं होगा. Like she said, implementation ज़रूरी है. Ground में काम कौन कर रहा है? Didi is doing it, and I'm sure more
So what
women are
would you
going to
do?
come.
Again, I come back.
I want more women to come into politics. So I want to be a good parliamentarian myself. I want to be a good politician myself.
So one thing,
that
tell us what you'd like to be remembered for.
I want to be remembered for getting more women into politics. I want to encourage people, motivate women from all walks of life. And I'm sure Ikra, Sambhavi, everybody, all of us are doing that. It's a lot of challenge. It's a patriarchal society at the end of the day. You are being very nice to us. He's not being so nice, though. He's being tricky. But
He's just being a journalist.
yeah, he's the bad cop. You're the good cop. Okay. So, but yeah, there are challenges everywhere.
Right.
But we have to send this message across loud and clear कि महिलाएं घर संभाल सकती हैं, किचन संभाल सकती है, राज्य संभाल सकती है, देश भी संभाल सकती है. So we need that kind of backup from all of you. And I want Bengal to be remembered. I put my state first, even before me, that Bengal should rise, women in Bengal should rise, and they should own the world. And that's what we are going to work towards. Thank you.
Thank you. Shambhavi, now which particular area you would like to make a mark of? There's plenty of things you could do in a state like Bihar.
Yeah.
What would you want to focus on?
Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I have donated my 5-year salary to promote education.
But
in
if there's
girls
one
of
policy you'd like to change, apart from education, you mentioned a lot, is there a policy you'd like to really make a difference and bring about?
See, I think I'll come to the policy, but before that, I think we are missing a point that financial independence for women is also very important, and you
Good
have
point.
to make them financially independent. So I want to develop probably job opportunities or encourage women to work in my constituency. I want to be remembered as somebody who does not believe in how big the dream is. Even if there is a girl who comes to me and says, I want to do this, no matter how small that is, I want to be that person who encourages her to do that, whatever her heart desires. But if there is one policy that I think should come, it is capital punishment for rape. It has to come up, and people need to start,
That's a good
you
point.
know,
That's what we have been trying for all this while.
yeah. There should be capital punishment for rape, and there are no two ways about it. And it's about time that women together across party lines, across politics, they come together and raise their
Excellent.
voice for this.
Kaushik, there's a rapid fire 30-second question come answer.
Yeah, again,
your turn now.
again a tricky question. And
Who you're starting with?
I'll start with Ikra. And you cannot name your own party leader. You have to name someone else.
Why you don't want us to continue in politics for a long time?
Of course.
Why do you have to?
Of
This is
course.
first time we are here.
Of course, means you will first hear out the
Ask me
questions.
why.
So, in Parliament, whether in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, you interact with Rajya Sabha members also. Name one politician who you will call gentleman, in the true sense. See, it's
A
an easy
gentleman.
question. So, but you cannot name your own leader. So you have to pick from another party. I'm assuming your own leader is gentleman, so that's given.
Absolutely, so totally.
That's given. I'm making it easier for you, so you have to name another.
There are many actually.
You can name 2, 3.
Okay. I think the TDP's floor leader, Lavu Shri Krishna sir, he's one. He's helped me a lot. So, who else?
मेरी तरफ मत देखो. Not me.
I think many
We might
people,
be
but
India
I'll name
Alliance,
him.
but for these
Okay.
things, don't
One
look at
answer is good enough. Sayani.
me. I think Nitin Gadkari ji is a thorough gentleman. I think he's perhaps the only leader, Satta Paksh, we are opposition. When he speaks, we kind of thump the desk. So I think Nitin Gadkari ji. Actually, you know, I'll be very honest with you. I know it's a rapid fire, but we are all new, your first timers, but we are treated with a lot of respect within the parliament from across all party lines. So that is also the kind of atmosphere we need
very
to
good.
thrive. So I would be very honest that way. And of course, Akhilesh ji, I have to say Akhilesh ji. Yes, yes.
So I would like to say Chirag Bhaiya, definitely.
You
but-
can't name your
Own leader.
It's
That-
assumed.
That's a given. That's
That
a
is
given.
assumed. Okay, so I would say Mansukh Bhai Mandavia ji, because he's also like he has that knack to interact with the youth. Especially he wants to work in promoting women empowerment, youth empowerment. So he's constantly interacting with a lot of people, with a lot of us, and you know he's always designing ways on how to move forward. So I think him, but number one is Chirag Bhaiya.
Well, there's time's up, and we've had a wonderful session with
Thank you
three
so much.
representatives who's
Thank
the
you.
future of India, and it's safe in your hands. Ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen,
so
let's give
much.
them a very, very warm round of applause for this.